Hi there, and thank you for clicking on my video. Today we're going to be going over the new Archon mods and how Ivara can use them. I'm going to show how each one can be triggered and which mod she can't use. Most of these mods are going to revolve around her Artemis bow. Going to be simple enough. Um, let's go over what the mods are if this is the first time you've seen them, because these haven't technically come out yet at this point. The first one, and this is the one she can't use, Archon Intensify, uh, is a upgrade and a direct reslot for regular Intensify. It gives the same bonus strength, 30, but it has the additional trigger on it as well as the rest of the Archon mods. Restoring health with abilities grants 30% ability strength for 10 seconds. Because Ivara doesn't have any way to self heal, if you are playing by yourself, you cannot use this unless you helmet something on Ivara. But there are some interactions, and I'll cover them later on ways that this can be triggered. But for now, if you're playing by yourself, this won't work. Let's go to the next one, Archon Stretch, 45% ability range. It's the same stat as regular Stretch, but this one is abilities that deal electricity damage, restore 2 energy per second over 5 seconds. You can mod electricity, and I'm going to show you that on the Artemis bow, and you will be able to get a small but decent amount of energy back. Archon Vitality is health, same amount as regular Vitality, plus 440. Status effects from abilities that deal heat damage will be applied twice. Pretty good for a heat build. Um, Again, going to be using the Artemis bow to apply this because there's no status effects, no elemental status effects. There's some physical, but it's on the Artemis bow anyway. Um, so if you deal a heat status, the damage will be done twice. Archon Flow is 275 energy, 275 energy. This is probably the most generic and easy to use one. Just in case you've gotten to Steel Path and have gotten to the point where you're doing Archon hunts, and for whatever reason you haven't acquired Prime Flow. This can be used just as like a small replacement. It is going to cost you an extra capacity with a forma, which you would be forming anyway. So in order to trigger this, the enemy has to be killed with a weapon that has cold on it. You do not need a status of cold, nor does the weapon have to be cold only to use this. And just to clarify, that same thing works for Stretch, the Archon Stretch. The weapon just has to have electricity on it. It does not need the Tesla coil or the status effect. So if you're running like a viral or like a gas electric build against infested, but you have an incredibly heavy weight for gas for some reason, and you never proc electricity, you can use this because it still counts as being the thing that does electricity. It just the damage needs to be on it. And the same applies for cold, but this one has the additional condition of needing to be the thing that kills. You need to kill the enemy in order for this to potentially trigger. And the final one, Archon Continuity, plus 55 ability duration, abilities that inflict a toxin status, and this only triggers when the toxin status is applied, not the damage. So you need to be able to trigger statuses with this. Will give you, when that condition is met, will give you a free corrosive status proc. Pretty nice, especially since you're using continuity a lot. So let's go through it. We'll look at the Artemis bow. Let's start with, looks like it's already modded for Toxin. We'll go ahead and use that. And we'll do that just to get some more base damage early. Alright, as you can see, even though we're only modded for Toxin, we were able to get... Even though we're only modded for Toxin, we were able to get corrosive procs, as well as some of our IPS. We'll do the next one, and that'll be heat. And just to cover what that is again, status effects from abilities that deal heat damage will be applied twice. Alright, as you can see, we got 4 procs. Because there's so much multi-shot, it was 2 triggers, or 2 status effects, so they got doubled to 4. Got 4 again. This time we only got 1, so it gets doubled to 2. Pretty good for a heat inherit build. The next one is electricity. This one's pretty simple. You don't even need to deal the status, it just needs to be on the weapon. And actually, I'll show that. Okay, so we're doing the gas electric. And actually, okay, so gas with a very tiny electric. And you'll see it proc in the top right. The only issue with this is in order to get the regen, you can't be channeling. And the Artemis bow counts as channeling. But you still get it sometimes. Actually, hold on. I'm probably glitched right now. Let's see if it works when I come back in. Because the Artemis bow doesn't have a drain. Alright, the Artemis bow doesn't have a drain. But normally this has interrupted it. So it should be fine. But if this actually applies, I'll be impressed. Because I know it doesn't work during invisibility. So it applies there. The energy drain is on the shot, right? But when we go into Prowl, we lose the regen because of the drain from the ability. So I guess that makes this the only channel, but it's because it doesn't have a drain, right? So, okay, there's that one. Corrosive Toxin, heat. Okay, kill with cold. And this is another thing where it just needs to be on. So we're going to do a gas cold. You can... It'll be more important when you do that. For stat sticks. Say you have a Riven on a stat stick like this. Or not for the Artemis bow, you can't stat stick this. But say for like Valkyr claws. Or even more importantly, Atlas. This works for Atlas. If you have a stat stick that for whatever reason has like a cold proc on it, but you really want like corrosive, you can then use this to passively gain energy back while you're using Atlas's landslide. If you don't have like an ideal Riven or whatnot, you know? And it'll still obviously help get your damage up. Hold on, let me get more enemies. so much complaining going on over there. Okay, so what we're going to be looking for, there it is, it triggered. Archon flow. It's this symbol right here. All it means is that something dropped. One of these energy orbs, and you aren't going to know which one. And the energy orb will proc. See, it procced again. You aren't going to know which one drops it. But, it does contribute to the potential triggers for Arcane Energize, for those of you that have that. So pretty neat. It triggered again. So we got 3 energy orbs killing this group of guys. And the general gist of the gameplay for this would be like if you're in your invisibility, this would just give you another chance to get an energy orb if you're using cold on your Artemis bow. If you are, this is something you can do. So it's a potential trigger. But that's basically it for Ivara on how she can self-trigger the Archon mods. And that's how you would go about doing it. Intensify has some asterisks with it, if you will. But Ivara can't proc this on her own. And auras and arcanes don't apply. So, thank you for watching my video. Have a blessed day.